Good morning, good evening. Welcome to this week's Fiberific Live Craft and Chat, where we craft and chat live. Couple of little bits of housekeeping. This Saturday's the second Saturday of the month. So if you are a channel member, whether you've been gifted, whether you are a paid member, it doesn't matter. But if you are a channel member of coffee level and above, so not ad skippers, but the other levels, you can join into our members only chat that we have on Saturday over in the Fiberific Discord. This is like a Zoom call, so it's a two-way chat. It's not just me. I will sit and check out what you're doing and answer questions and hang out and drink coffee, and it's like a Zoom call. It's like a Zoom call, and it's a lot of fun. So if you want to join into that and you are not already an existing coffee level and above channel member, you can either upgrade or join in by clicking that join button that is just probably down there. Unless you're on a TV, then you'll need to use your phone. All right. Then also today is the first Thursday of the month, so it's the second Saturday, but it's the first Thursday, which means we are having Caffeinated Crafters, and we are at IKEA Logan from around 6 p.m. onwards until they kick us out. So which is usually around the 8:30ish mark. So, but you don't have to stay the whole time. I like to stay the whole time, but you don't have to. So yeah. Righty, let us have a look. Oh, see you later. Let us have a look here in the chat. So welcome to everybody jumping in. Bianca, so good to see you. Thank you for coming along. Hey Kelly, great to see you. Knitspin Girl Creations is here as well, and Kerry. Kerry is. I was just checking out your Facebook. No. It was Discord. Was it a Discord post where you posted all those gorgeous photos of yarn, of like your? It might have been Facebook. I can't keep up. I'm sorry. Molly is here as well. Bianca's saying, "Wonder how we'll go in Australia from December 10." I don't know what that's in reference to. I've obviously missed something. So yeah, wonder how we'll go in Australia from December 10. What's happening on December 10th? I don't know. You probably say things like, oh my gosh, but no, it's not coming to me. It's not coming to me. So, as per the title of today's live stream, I want to get some, you did, Kerry posted it in both places, which is why which is why I was confused. Oh, Discord is part of the social media for bands for under 16s. Look, I don't think it's going to matter, honestly. I think if you've had a teen, like in the last, I don't know, 15 years, you will already know they're going to work around it. They're smarter than the systems. They are going to find workarounds. They are going to get in. So I don't think it's going to matter. Unless you're one of these people who don't like to put like your date of birth into things, which I don't care about. So whatever. But if you're one of those people, you might have problems. If you're not willing to add your information so that you can be whitelisted in, you may have a problem. But other than that, I think it's just going to be a big old nothing burger. Knitspin Girl says, I've been waiting for a plumber to arrive since Monday. Of course, they choose now to find that to finally show up. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But will Discord demand ID? Maybe. If they do, I'm just going to give it to them. like, I don't care. I'll give them my ID. Whatever. Like, I've had to give my ID over to other people. I've had to show it to random people before. Like, whatever. I don't care. Like, they're going to get sued if our ID leaks, things like that. So, look, I think that I don't even know the best way to put this. I think that if you want to use these apps, you're going to have to jump through the hoops. If you don't want to jump through the hoops, then you're just going to miss out. That's how I see it. So if you don't want to age verify yourself, if you don't want to use ID for whatever reason to join in the apps, then you just miss out in the apps. For me, I'm going to age verify. Like if they want me to age verify, I will. I don't know if they'll make it, if they'll force it through. I don't know what they're going to do. A lot of them have AI that can work out how old you are based off other things. So I don't know. But in my opinion, if you want to use the app, you have to use their terms of service, and their terms of service will change and include some sort of ID or some sort of proof of age, or you'll have to declare that you're over age or something like that. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but for me, these apps are important to me, and so I'll jump through the hoops. So it's going to be an individual choice. It's going to be up to you to decide if that's what you want to do. Alrighty. Amelia Nicole has made it. Great to see you. Great to see you, Mel Bambianor. I don't know why I'm struggling with names today. Mel, it's great to see you as well. Rebecca G is in the house. Good to see you, Rebecca. Thanks for joining in. Amelia Nicole's going in with all the. Actually, do you know what's missing? Our comment thing. Hang on a second. Where is? I'm like, wait a second. Amelia's put in all sorts of emojis and none of them are flying around. Did I mute something? I may have accidentally emote wall there. Oh, I have. I turned it off. I'm sorry. We'll see if future emojis will appear. I don't know why I turned it off, but I had. Oh, I've also moved it. So let's. Oh, I know why I probably turned it off. I probably needed to do something. And I needed to move it out of the way. There we go. It's back in the middle. Natalie says, my kids watched YouTube without an account for years. They weren't allowed accounts until they were 13. They just couldn't comment on videos, but they could still watch. Absolutely. There we go, Amelia. Thank you for testing it and throwing all the emojis up. Appreciate that. Vampire is in the house. And so is Melissa. Good to see you, Melissa. It wasn't working last week either. I probably was jiggery pokering something and didn't even notice it. It's back now. I've had like a really crazy week, you guys. So work has been insane, which I'm actually loving. I just want to put that out there right now. I am loving how busy I am with work. And it's kind of weird because I'm ridiculously busy. Like I need to go to the optometrist and get my eyes checked because my reading glasses, which I use on my computers, I don't think are working as well as they're supposed to. And I'm really noticing that. But work is crazy busy right now. And my Mac Mini, which I used to run everything, wasn't coping with the work I was doing. So it copes with some stuff. It's perfectly good M1 Mac Mini. Could not cope with all the editing I was having to do. And so it was just taking forever. Like it could do it, but it was like walking through like a mud. Like it was just so slow. And then to render a project, it was taking an hour and a half, which doesn't sound that bad. But when you've got 30 or so projects to do, 20 to 30 projects, you're going to spend that many hours just waiting for it to do something. So I was using my MacBook Pro, and then my MacBook Pro had a little, heart attack. And so it had to go to the Apple doctor. So I went to Apple on Monday. And so while I was there, I actually upgraded my Mac Mini. So instead of the old M1 Mac Mini, I now have an M4 Pro chip Mac Mini, which just to put so the M1 would take, there's similar amounts of time to actually do the edit itself. But the actual rendering went from an hour to an hour and a half to 10 to 15 minutes for the same size files. I was just blown away. Anyway, so work has been crazy. Just trying to keep on top of all of that. I don't know if I'm succeeding, but I'm trying really hard. But what I've been doing so that I'm not looking at the screen all the time is while I wait for a render to happen, I have been doing this. I've been, when I remember, once I sort of got everything fixed, I started adding rows to my Moreland. So it's slowly coming along. It's definitely grown since last time. I think I added in 3 or 4 more colors. I've also gone and started scrubbing a drawer out in the kitchen as well to get up and away from my desk. So far, nobody in my family's noticed. Cool. But I wanted to talk about, like, we are coming towards the end of the year. So we're already in November. Okay, so we're already in November. And let me know in the chat if you are overwhelmed by how many projects you've got. Now, so while you're putting there in the chat whether you're overwhelmed by how many projects, and not so much, not even just I've got to get this many done before Christmas, but how many of you started throughout the year and haven't completed? And I know we have this discussion around this time every year, because I look at how many projects I've got left to do and go, so I'm going to share that with you. But in the meantime, Rebecca, who is in the chat here, says, do you have a go-to blanket yarn? Look, Rebecca, I don't. I would say my favorite acrylic for blankets would be the Knit Picks Brava worsted. I think it's beautiful and soft and comes in a really solid number of colors. I don't always use that one, so I've just bought some new yarn to try from Cozy Clouds Crochet or Pages Crochet here in Beenleigh, and I've just bought enough to make a blanket that we were talking about last week. So I've done some tests on that, but I've left it all out in the living room because that's not a project I want to work on today, because I am this close from finishing something big and I want to work on that today. Okay, and then that's a massive project out of my queue. So let me know in the chat if you know which of the projects it's going to be. Melissa says, I was doing well with my projects, but whoops, I've started 2 more. See, this is the thing. I thought I was doing all right with my projects too. And I've literally got one here that I haven't added to Ravelry, which you guys know about, which is the pink ranunculus. And I realized I haven't added that to Ravelry yet. And I haven't added my new blanket oh, no, I have added the new blanket project. But was there something else that I wanted to start? There was the new blanket project. So that was one project. Oh, there's a top that I want to work on. That's right. But I'm like, I cannot start them yet. I really do. My brain is just not letting me. I've done some tests and some swatchings and some blips, but not actually dug in and got started. Bianca says, I just unraveled a couple of projects. I now only have 4 on the go, but 2 of those are little ones. And do you know what? Unraveling a project is legit. Sometimes you get part of the way through a project, or even nearly all the way through a project, or worse, finish a project and go, you know what? I'm not loving it. I'm just not loving it. And so you reclaim the yarn. Yarn is not cheap. You know, so reclaim your yarn, pull out the project. You might have some extra joins or whatever. At least you've got all the yarn. Rip the yarn, rip the project and go forth. Frogging and unraveling a project is making a decision. It is the decision that you will not be making this project, or you will not be making it in this size or in this color or whatever. But this exact iteration of this, not happening. So that is a decision. That's absolutely a decision. And last year I ripped a lot of projects. I had a lot more projects on the go, and I ripped a lot of them because I just wasn't loving them. Mel says, I have a tank top for my daughter and a pair of socks for my bonus daughter. Very nice. Molly says, I have 3 on the go and want to start 1 more. Bianca says, I just did a swatch and we'll find a pattern for it this afternoon. Nice. Nice. So what I'm working on, does anyone want to have a guess on, oh man. Does anyone want to have a guess at what I'm working on while I drink some tea? Oh, and speaking of, we've got special guest Louie today. Hello, Lulu. Let me just fix your camera up a little bit, because it is a little bit high. There you go. Hello, Louie. Are you dead? Are you a dead dog? Hey? Oh, you're not a dead dog. Hello, Lou. Louie's like, stop it. I was sleeping. Leanne says, I have multiple unfinished projects, which I never did do. I'm wondering if that's what's holding me back from crocheting. Leanne, one thing I will say, and this may not be the case for you, but it certainly is for me. Sometimes the inner guilt of having a project not done literally does stop me from working on something else. No, I can't work on that. I can't start this thing because I've got this other thing and I need it done. But the problem was I was never going to do them because I didn't love them. I didn't want to pour the hours and hours and hours of time into getting them done. I didn't love them. And they weren't commissioned jobs. They weren't anything that had to be done. So when I made that decision to frog them, it didn't just clear the space and give me back a project bag. It cleared space here. And I don't know if it'll work for you or not, but it definitely works for me. So I sit down and look at projects sometimes and go, you know what? I'm not in love with that. I don't want to do it. I don't want to finish it. And frog it and reclaim the yarn. Reclaim the yarn and reclaim the space, and not just the physical space, but the mental space. Vampire says, I'm rapidly working on a star snuggle cocoon, so it's done before I meet the baby, being induced on the weekend, but waiting until she's home next week to meet her. Oh, yeah, that's so cute. That's so cute. Molly says, I've finished about 7 this year. Jumpers, a cardigan, tops, and a blanket. That is awesome work. Because they're big projects. They're all big projects. Deb D, good to see you in the chat. Thanks for jumping in. I've added my next 2 projects with yarn allocation to my Ravelry project. Still have 3 garments from 2024-25 to work on, in addition to a complicated shawl. You've just reminded me of the other thing I want to add to my projects. Whew, thank you. It was doing my head in. I know I'm not too bothered about the whips. Fair enough. Francis says, I dyed up some yarn to add to my scarf as I feel it's too small. I'm really pleased with how the colours came out. That's great. Leanne says, yeah, I think I've had a year of this. Yeah, you started with the Queen. So my question is, thinking about your Queen, Leanne, do you want to finish it? Is it something you'll use? Is it something like, do you want it as the mental hurdle of, oh my gosh, look what I've done? Because that's what I needed for my Queen. I needed to finish it. But also, if you don't need to and it's just messing with your head, unravel it and get rid of it. Seriously. Melissa says, I'm finding it hard to finish something when I'm not loving the colors. Absolutely. Or when I'm not loving the texture, like I've got to hold this. Red Heart really does my head in, like the Super Saver, because everyone's like, it washes up so nice. I'm like, yeah, but I got to work with it for 50 hours before I get to wash it and someone else gets to feel how nice it is. And we all have our own different, levels of what's nice tactile wise. And we all like the feels of different things. Like I really like the feel of Source of Fiber's Dirty DK, but I know some people don't like how it feels. And I absolutely loving the feel of the new Cozy Yarns Legacy 8-ply. I love how it's nearly got I want to say a cottony feel to it, like a softy cotton. Look at me with my fingers. I don't even know. I don't know how to describe it, but I love how it feels. So I'm really looking forward to working with that some more. But yes, absolutely. Sometimes it's the colors that does your head in. For sure. Absolutely for sure. Victor, great to see you in the chat. So Leanne, I don't know if you're going to, I don't know what you're going to do. Do you want to finish your Queen, or is it just I have to finish it because I started it kind of mentality? Because you don't. This is me giving you permission. You don't have to finish it. This was not something you were paid to do. This is not your work. This is supposed to be a hobby that you find fun. I know it's not the case for everybody, but I know for Leanne in this instance it is. It is your hobby. It is supposed to be fun. And if you are battling through a project like this, it's no longer fun. So, if it's not fun, it's not fun. Kerry says, I snipped off the cotton on my blanket. It's 95% done, so I can think about starting a blanket. That is awesome. Solly tank top, not a blanket. 95% done. All right, well, I'm going to show you what I'm working on. I am currently working on my corner to corner. Now, I have finished all of the strips. All of the strips are done. Okay? So I've started doing a border. And what I'm doing is, you can see it here, I just started with the red because I had more red than blue. So I wanted to sort of weigh it. So the both sides and the red are done. Where is the other side? There we go. I've got both sides of the red are done, which is just a 2 square corner to corner going beep, 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 all the way to the bottom of the jar. And then I've just started the blue on. Now, the reason why I was just doing these on the sides to start with is it was a lot narrower than it is long. So I think I don't know why I ended up choosing 13 squares long, but I think hang on, 1, 2, I'll count it. I think it's 13 long. I thought I did all the math redos and I thought I was going to be able to get an extra 2 of these strips wide and that would have made the difference. But I couldn't. There was just nowhere near enough yarn. I'm actually hoping to have enough to do these slip borders. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so it's 13 squares long. And each square, I think, was about 12 centimeters, which is just over, or just under 5 inches. So 12.5 centimeters is 5 inches. You think I'd have a tape measure handy, wouldn't you? Oh, look, there we go. I do. Now, obviously, these aren't blocked and they're a little bit like skew-if. So let's have a look. So that one's just under 5.5 inches, which makes it about 13.5. Like if we're measuring from there to sort of the edge of that stitch, it's about 13.5 on that one, 13 on that one, 12 and 13 on that one. So about 13 centimeters per each one of those. So that's what I'm doing right now is, so as I was going, I wove in most of the ends. Now I don't have all of the ends woven in on the blocks because I did the last 2 rows without weaving the ends in. So they've just got some ends on the last 2 rows. So just this block and this block. And I've woven in the red end, but not the blue one, just in case I have to undo it. Okay. So this is what I'm doing. So I'm just going to be putting this. Now, where I need your advice, come on camera, is I've got a ton more white. So what I was thinking of doing was doing the red, then the blue, and then a white, but then also doing the white along there. Now, I don't believe I have enough red or blue, for that matter, to do any red or blue on the bottom and top. And I don't need the length, honestly. I need width, but not length. So what I was thinking of doing is doing this, but with the white square section on the outside, but then also run it all the way across the bottom as well. Because I got like 400 grams of white left, but like, you know, 50 of the red, and I've got this much blue, but yet I've still got to finish. I haven't even started the other side yet. So let me know in the chat what you think. Oh, I undid that already. Oh man, I undid the clip a bit soon, didn't I? Yeah, so let me know. Bianca says, exactly, if it isn't fun anymore, then put it aside or unravel it. That's right. But the problem is Leanne's been putting it aside for some time now, and I think it might be weighing on her brain. You don't think white down the side? Yeah, I'm a little bit torn about the white. I don't know if I don't know if it needs it or if I could just use, I'm just like, I've still got white left. You know, there's white left. How dare I have yarn left over from a project? And I think it's more that I'm not sure if it really needs the white, to be honest. But I'd love to get your opinions. Victor says it's nice. Thank you, Victor. Knitspin Girl says, oh, you've promised it to Dan and Avi. Okay, so it does have, all right, then you have put pressure on yourself about it, and that could be what the problem is. But you know Dan and Avi are going to absolutely love it no matter what you do, right? And like, they're obviously, like, they're not in a rush for it, so you don't have to rush through it. But you could, I don't know the best way, because in that case, you don't want to frog it because it's, how far through it are you, Leanne? Like, how many, like, how long is it so far? Like, are you a quarter through or a third through or halfway through? Like let me know where you're at with it. And if you just need some encouragement to help you finish with it, with, you know, without being like, are you done yet? Where's that blanket? Are you done? Because that doesn't help. Francis also says you don't think it needs. I think I like it finishing it on the dark color personally, on the dark blue, but I just wasn't sure. So I'm glad you guys are agreeing that it doesn't really need the extra white. And we got enough extra width. So we got the width of nearly just over another square. So because we only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squares wide. And then we got, let me just line this up so we can get an idea. Yeah, so that's about half a square, or just over half a square. So we've got nearly the width of 8 squares. So once this border is finished and these edges are on, this one is done. What have I done here? I'll tell you what I've done. I forgot to do something here, which sometimes that happens when I pull out stitches and I forget where I'm up to. And one thing I'll also say about the border is that whenever I'm on working into this section, it's always from the front to the back, so I don't have to mess around with any weird stitching, and just a little bit like I only need to be on the back side, you know, just for a few blocks. I was able to do all of the red on both sides last night watching a couple of episodes of The X-Files. I've started watching The X-Files from the start again. Oh my gosh, they're such little young babies. It's the early 90s. I remember watching X-Files after Squash, so I hadn't even moved to Sydney, so it was still early 90s. Yeah, Bianca says definitely finish on the dark. Loopy, no, it's great to see you. Yeah, that's right. And Melissa and Bianca are both right. I can absolutely use the leftovers for another project because it is Bendigo cotton, and I think I think this is the 8-ply. Let me just check. Do I have a tag? It is the 8-ply. So, because there's this much of the red left, so a little splodgy bit of red. And we've got 2 nearly whole balls of white. We've got 1 complete ball, tag and all. And this one, I've done barely half, not even half a square with. So most of 2 white balls. And I did some maths, and I should have about 10 grams of the blue left over after doing both sides. So I'm really hoping that I don't do anything get too relaxed and comfortable and make the stitches too big and loopy and lose my 10 grams. Stuart was a huge X-Files fan. Look, me too. I still love it. And I've been really enjoying rewatching it. And it's a little, it's a little dated. There's some dated stuff. There's some dated references, but for the most part, it's pretty good. I think it's holding up mostly. So it's very interesting to see how it's going. So let me know, what are you all working on today? Are you getting something finished, or you were starting something new? So today in my Ravelry, I went in and finished the it's not quite finished. I've still got to add in completed photos of the Musselburgh hat, but I realized today I hadn't actually put a completion date on it, and so it wasn't ended on Ravelry yet. So I was able to go in and do that. And now I think I have, let me just check. I did bring my Ravelry up so I can check it. So I have the new Coastline blanket, which will be the one that we start after I finish this one. So that's probably from next week's live stream. We'll start on the Coastal Sunburst Hexie, which is the blanket we voted on. I'm still working on the Moreland blanket, which I'm loving. And Rebecca G asked a question earlier about what's my go-to blanket yarn. And look, I'm going to say cotton. Let's just, no brand. I'm in Australia. It's subtropical. I prefer my blankets in cotton than acrylic, but I'll absolutely use acrylic for blankets. So yeah. Melissa said, I used to love the X-Files. Is it dated? Look, it's a little bit dated. A little bit dated. And some of it you're a bit like, oh, that's right. They used to be able to smoke on television. Things like that. but I'm only into the second season, and so far it's pretty good. So far it's pretty good. Off to work now. Will the tank top and weave in the ends at lunchtime? Fantastic. Can't wait. Rebecca says, nice. I wasn't sure if I was going to go with the cotton or something else. I'm in northern New South Wales. Yeah, look, I'm a big fan of cotton blankets. It's a personal preference. It definitely makes them more expensive, without a doubt. But for acrylic, I like the Legacy from Paige's Cozy Yarn Crochet. She's a newish store in Beenleigh, so she's my local yarn store now. And so she's a small Australian business, which I absolutely love to support. So Bendigo Woolen Mills, which is what this is. Bendigo Woolen Mills is great value for cotton. Mind you, this is their 8-ply cotton, and I'm using a 3mm hook, right? So take 8-ply with a grain of salt. But it's still lovely cotton, and it washes and wears really well. I have a blanket that I made. Actually, I can check now. It was my Fireworks blanket, and it's probably starting to get a bit crispy, like as in, cotton starts to do not nice things. Did I not add it into Ravelry? It's not here. I could have sworn I put it into Ravelry. Fireworks. Was it called Firework? No, I don't know. Anyway, that one, it has to be at least 10 years old. And it's starting to, wear. But after 10 years of constant use on the couches, I'm not surprised. Excuse me. Also, I crocheted it fairly loosely. And so it doesn't so it's sort of stretched out of shape a little bit. I finished the Attic 24 Cozy Stripe blanket yesterday, knitting the front bands of a cardi today, 11 billion stitches, finished with an I-cord cast off. Ugh. Do you know what I hate about I-cord cast off? It's a number of stitches. Do you know what else I hate about I-cord cast off? How good it freaking looks. So it makes it worth doing the 11 billion stitches. You're just like, man, this is going to look so good. I've just got to deal with this first. Oh. Yeah, Rebecca, I love that she's local as well, to be honest. I put an order in the other day because she had a sale on the Friday and Saturday. So I put an order in and I was able to pop in, pick it up, have a chin wag, add some extra things. So, yeah, it was good. It was good. But what I did do is, how last week we were like, oh, yeah, I'll get 3 extra skeins of the grey. I went with 4. So if I want to make the blanket a little bit longer, so it's more like a full-size single bed blanket rather than like a longish lap blanket, I've got that option because I've got lots of extra of the colour, whereas like they're like 5 colours. I've got 8 colours. So I don't need to do 11 of each colour for a start. And I can, if I can do an extra row. I was thinking, but each one of those circle motifs, it's like I think it's 6 inches, 5 or 6 inches for the circle. It's 6 inches once you include the hexie outline, but the circle is a 5-inch circle. So they're quite big motifs as well. So that'll knock that blanket out quite fast. I did a couple of tests. I think I've done 5 of them so far. Just to see if it's going to be something I can do in a live stream, and I think it is. I think it's going to be something I can do. It's not too mentally heavy. It's going to be me and this cast off until the end of time. Yeah. Natalie says, I'm working on my Nordic Star blanket. It has a deadline of 2 weeks' time, and I'm slip stitching squares together and then the border. I can see the light. Oh. The navy stitches pattern really pops for it being a duck yarn. It really does, and it's because of the texture. And I'm doing them fairly firmly. So as I said, it's a 3mm hook with what's considered a DK weight cotton. I say considered because I don't consider it a DK weight. I think it's more of a sport weight. But anyway, 3mm hook gives it quite a firm handle. Also, I've got this so that the white wasn't bleeding everything out, I have adjusted the colors a little bit. I'm just seeing, like, let's see if we can just, because that blue is a little darker in real life. Oops, I just saturated the red. Because that's the problem, finding a balance where everything looks good. I think we're all right. Like where you can see the stitch definition on the white, because that's usually the big problem, is stitch definition on the white. It sort of blows out. And so it's meant that we can see the stitch definition on the blue as well. So, but the blue is a little darker and the red's a little redder. On my screen, it's looking a little orange, but it's actually quite a beautiful red. What have I done here? I need to do some chains, and then this. Let's have a look. Try adding some washing soda to the wash, and that should take away the stiffness of an old cotton blanket. I will definitely give that a try. I've got washing soda. So yeah, definitely worth a try. This particular one, the one that I'm thinking of, it's got some holes worn into it. So I don't know if it'll be worth saving that one, but I'll definitely keep an eye on it for other cotton blankets that we've got. Knitspin Girl says, I've knit this cardi before in a different colour, worn it nearly to death. Love the look and the finishing touches, but they take forever. Tubular cast on for the body, that took all day. Oh my gosh, yes. And you know what? It is sometimes these extra bits, the different cast on, the better cast offs, they are what make or break a project. It is so often the finishing stitches and the edges that make something look good or not. Oh, Nat says a blanket's got 225 squares. Oh my gosh, Nat, you've got this. You are gonna get this done. It's gonna happen. Goodness me. So today my MacBook Pro is ready to be picked up. Tim's going to pick it up for me from the Mac Doctors. So hopefully that's all fixed up now. They had a fan error. Melissa says, is the Cozy Cloud Legacy yarn a 10-ply or an 8-ply? It looks lovely. Look, I would say it's a 10-ply. I would definitely consider it probably slightly more worsted than DK. I think we worked out that it had 333 meters per 185 grams, which makes it slightly thicker than other yarns. So, and the thing to keep in mind of is the skeins are classed as 185 grams. They are not 200 gram skeins. Even though the label says 200 gram skeins, the website very clearly says 185 grams. I would say probably closer to worsted. Definitely a worsted weight rather than DK. But you know what it's like. Quite often you can interchange things anyway, but I love it. I think I picked some really pretty colors. I'm really happy with what I got. I cannot wait to start it. And I think that's what gave me the, like, I was going to sit down and just do some of the circles in each of the colors so that we could do a few circles on camera for each color and really power it along. And then I was like, oh, but you know, I really just want to finish this. And I don't know why it jumped into my head. I think it's because it's been taking up a huge amount of space in my crafting nest. Whereas it could be being used as a blanket. So it gets stored in the linen cupboard rather than the craft room. So I'm trying to change some things around so that I've got a little bit more space. And part of the problem is I keep buying more yarn. And it makes it hard. Can I bring some? Yeah, I can bring some tonight. No problems. You can have a touch. And I'll bring along some of the bamboo blend as well. It's lovely. She doesn't have a lot of that left, and I think she's going to put in a reorder for it. I don't know when though. But it's lovely too. But yeah, so this one's nearly done. So, well, I say nearly done. It's considering how much is done already, it's nearly done. All right. So I've still got to get to the other end of this blue. And do you know what? Now that we're not doing the white, I'm like, we're even closer to being finished. So it'll be get to the end of this blue and weave in some ends and it's done. And it's not even that many ends really compared to, a whole blanket of ends. So yeah, I think it's coming along nicely. Oh, Francis, are you playing Yarn Chicken? Because I think I'm going to be fine. I've got 10 grams of leeway based off the red. Oh, that's right. This is only the first side of the blue. I've still got to do the other side of the blue. I'm like, oh man, I've only got this much to go, and it's just like, no. You still got the whole other side to do yet. Did my little camera move? Let me. I'm like, I'm shrunk down in the corner here. Let's see if I can just. There we go. Oh, you're playing Yarn Chicken. Yarn Chicken is scary. I was sort of like, I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough of the red and the blue to do this edge on it that I wanted to do. And so I sort of like, okay, I started with the blue to start with. And I was like, wait, pull back, start with the red because you've got more red than blue. And worst case scenario, if there's not enough left over, like if you weigh it out later and there's not enough left over, at least you've got a full border. You don't have to pull it out. So, but I actually like that I'm ending on the blue as well. Like that wasn't the intent. That wasn't intentional. But I'm glad I am. So, I'm just thinking. I wonder what's the meterage on these Bendigo 8-ply balls. I don't think their ball band tells you how many meters is in a ball, do they? 200 grams. No, because that's annoying. Why don't they tell you the meterage on the ball? Oh, wait a second. They did. It tore through it. Does it say 400 or 485? Hang on. It tore right through that point. Let me find another one. Same weak point. All the ball bands have got the same weak point. Nope. If anyone can look it up for me, that'd be great. Is it 485? Is it 405? I'm just trying to think like that's 800 meters of white cotton. Rebecca's looking on the site. 485. Thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate that. You're on the site now. Yeah. I'm just trying to think how many balls I've used for this so far. My project should have everything in there. Did it? Is the question. Did I set it up? Maybe, maybe not. So I had four of the blue, 4 of the white, and 2 of the red. So yeah. So I've used up all the blue because every row was either blue and white or blue and red. So we used up double the blue through the body. And now we've got, if I had just bought an extra blue and an extra red, I could have totally just made the extra width that I needed, but I didn't want to buy more yarn. I was pig-headed about it because I originally bought this yarn for another project and it didn't work out. So I was already grumpy. So this was like a make and do. Oops, I split that yarn. Try again. There we go. Alrighty, we're powering along. But yeah, and it's really nice to work with. It washes up really nicely. It's good value, 200 gram balls. Artsik says hello to all. He would jump in, but is currently being busy planning for the weekend. Our daughter is home from uni to meet her new niece. Lovely. Lovely. And also, if you get to, what is it? Is it $75 or $80 or something on Bendigo Woolen Mills' site? You get free post. So, you know, get enough yarn for a couple of projects in there. And boom, save postage. Okay. I've got a little bit of a headache today, I'm going to be honest. So just keeping it at bay. I thought this sort of two-step border was going to be a lot harder than it is. Like, I'd seen a lot of the sort of crochet ginghamy kind of project people, they do these sorts of edges. And there's one lady who does like, it's nearly like woven strips in this, which I love. Is it $90 for the free? Who remembers the days where you spent $45 and you got free postage? Like, I remember those days. But yeah, it's I can't believe it's at 90. I mean, I probably easily spend $100 there anyway, so I'm not gonna jump up and down too heavily, but that's snuck back up again. I mean, you don't have to get free postage. You can just buy the yarn you need for your project and pay your postage of whatever it is. Do they have flat rate postage, or do they charge Australia Post prices? Because that's scary. Australia Post prices are awful, and they get to go up twice a year with no one blinking an eyelid. And then small businesses get hammered on by people for like, oh, you put your postage prices up again. It's like, yeah, because postage went up again. It goes up in April and October. Every year, Australia Post puts it up. Why? Because they can. And I'll tell you, a pet peeve, a little rant coming in. We pay a fortune for parcel post, and at the moment, our small parcel delivery person is just a postie on a motorbike, and he rolls up to people's gates and goes toot toot. And if you don't answer, he just drives off in Cardew. Like, it's frustrating because for a start, there's a lot of dogs in my street who don't like horns, right? Including young Mr. Louis down here. And secondly, he doesn't give you enough time to get out there. Like, I basically have to get to the front door and yell out that I'm coming. And like, you get down there and he's grumpy. He's like, I've got a long driveway. He could get off his bike. He could ride his bike up the driveway if he really wanted. But you know, they sit at the letterbox and toot their little motorbike horn. So yeah, does my head in. And yet they're charging more and more and more for postage. And their drivers are getting slacker and slacker. I will say my bigger parcel dude, he's amazing. He always gets out, comes up the driveway, drops the parcels at the front door for me. He's awesome. It's just it's the latest small parcel delivery person. And the other problem, the old one used to just put it in the letterbox. Like the old small parcels lady, I'd just be like, yes, please just put them in the letterbox. I'd appreciate that. This guy won't do it. He won't put them in the letterbox. So it's frustrating. Hey. That's the neighbours shutting their own doors. They're allowed, just so you know. How often do they just card you even though you're home? Often. I've been carded. I've not heard a toot, a knock, or any. Louis hasn't barked, and he barks if someone walks down the street, right? So they've snuck up very quietly and just slipped a card. They haven't tried the gate, because the second someone tries the gate, Louis just instantly lets me know. 95% of the time, I will say. But yeah, he doesn't always, he's, sometimes he's asleep. Hey Holly, good to see you. Louis. Guys, I'm just going to double check what Louis is barking at. I'll be right back. His mind. There's no one there. Okay, let's get comfy. I'm too tall. Speaking of the postie. One more. Yeah, so, getting enough yarn for your projects, finishing off projects. So the projects I need to finish off that I would like to finish off by the end of the year, okay, is this one. The headband, which I'm tossing up whether or not just because I started doing that just because I needed something to consume my brain for a bit, like around when Mum passed away. I needed something really difficult to consume my brain, and it did that job. But then, I'm not sure if I would ever wear it or ever use it, so I don't know if I want to finish it or not. Do I want that memory of this is what I made to help me? I don't know. I don't know what I want to do with that one. Megs, good to see you. Our postie is lovely. We've left a box on the front porch and he drops parcels and large letters in there. That is good. That could be it. I was talking about the postie and Louis was just like, where is he? With his tootin' little horn. I'll give him a piece of my mind. But yeah, it's a fun game playing with the post. Our postie, like the small parcel guy, he won't get off his bike. He literally will not get off his bike. Whereas our standard parcel guy, he's awesome. He's awesome. So yeah, so I want to finish that. My Moonicati is another one that I want to get finished. And my stripy jumper. So I think my brain is nearly back. So after Vid Summit, so my I'm going to sit down and start looking at that and decide if I'm ready to start knitting it, because I don't want to screw it up right at the end of the sleeves and just feel like I can't finish it. But it's like the perfect weather to wear something like that. It's like just a little bit of cover, but still light and nice and made out of gorgeous fibers. There is also my fusion blanket, which is sitting under my desk all clipped together. It just needs joining. The problem is it still won't be done. It needs 11 billion ends woven in, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do it because I made a stupid decision. And so now I've got like 4 ends on each, minimum of 4 ends. Some of them have got 6, but 4 ends on each square that need to be woven in to a really lacy border. And so it's going to be really hard. Oh, did you win Yarn Chicken, Francis? Is that what we're cheering? Hope so. Hope you won. So yeah, so I really don't know what I'm going to do with that. It was so dumb of me. I didn't even think. So note to self, do whatever you need to do when you've got a lace, like when you've got a lot of ends, to choose a different edging. But I went with the edging they had on the pattern. So, yeah. Hey, Russell. Yeah, Australian flag is white, red, and blue as well. It just happened to be colours that I had. So, yeah. Oh, congratulations, Francis, winning at Yarn Chicken. Woot woot. What's the thing? I want a thing. I don't have any fun things. We're going to have Hype Train. Does Hype Train work? There we go. Hype Train works. Oh, it's got a song. I don't know what the song is. Had a sound effect. So that's cool. Yeah, lots of countries do have these three colours in their flags. They really do. They really do. I bought this originally. There was a beautiful colour work blanket. And it was like a 2-colour thing. But I wanted to do just a couple of accent squares with the red and the blue, or the red and the white, instead of just the blue and the white for everything. And when I knitted it up, I couldn't deal with the back because it had floats. And they're like, yeah, that's normal. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want floats in a blanket. I'm going to get my toes caught in them. And like, I don't want floats on a blanket. And they're like, oh, you could just back it. And I'm like, nah, I could just not do it. Do something else. So that's what I did. Really disappointed. Because I was like, is anyone else having to like wrap yarn every couple of stitches, like every stitch, so that there's no floats? And they're like, it's color work. You can expect floats. Just leave them. I'm like, nope. Maybe weave in a square a day. I've only got like, oh, you're talking about the grey squares. Yeah, I don't know. I've got to decide how I'm going to weave it in is the problem. Because these are very lacy squares. So I've got to work out how I'm going to weave it in. So that's it, and that's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's sitting there not being worked on because it's taking up brain space because of the next step, which after a step I haven't finished yet. So, but that one doesn't take up much physical space either, and it's a bit out of sight, out of mind. I don't necessarily feel the need to have that one done by Christmas. This one I want to have done by Christmas. This one's going to be done in the next 2 days. So if it's not finished today, it'll be finished tomorrow. Then I think I'm going to frog the headband, you know? Like, I'm going to pull it out. Here it is. Oops, pink yarn fell down. Here it is. So I'm only this far through it. I've made some pretty epic mistakes, so I have to pull back to nearly here. And that's only about a third through, right? Now, I love it. I think it's really sweet and it's really cool. But I just grabbed a ball of yarn. I didn't think about colours. I can't wear yellow. Like, yellow on my skin makes me look really sick. So I can't actually wear it. And then I thought, oh, Abby might like it. Abby's already like, nah, I'm never going to wear it. So I'm seriously, and it's a really nice ball of yarn. It's a ball of Midlands, which is so soft and squishy. So I'm this close to just frogging it and pulling it, so I don't even have to think about it. But I'm also really enjoying the process of this one. It is a really intricate. It's like intricate for me. I'm not great at cables, like, so it's been a really fun learning curve for me, which I really enjoyed. But then I made a few mistakes. So now I've got these mistakes that I can see, and I'm like, I have to pull them out, but then I also have to work out how to, deal with it as a mistake and work out exactly where I'm back up to with the pattern and stuff like that. So, because like it took me ages to work out where I was, and then I worked it out wrong. So like you can see here, I totally, or you might not be able to see, I totally botched it on that side. And on that side too. It's totally botched. So I have to pull it back and work out where I'm up to again. But anyway, I'm seriously contemplating just pulling that one, because it was just it was an exercise in controlling my brain. That one's pattern is, let me just check Ravelry for 1 second, because it's lovely. Like, don't get me wrong, absolutely love it. It is called the Oceanborn Headband. Bianca, you're right. Why not just make it out of some other color and pull this one out? I think you're right. I think that'll be the difference. I'm just grabbing the pattern link for the chat. It is a free Ravelry pattern as well. Paste. There you go. That's the Oceanborn Headband. So yeah. Some exercises can prove futile. Well, the exercise was actually to control my brain during excessive grief, and it did that job. It helped me to focus and clear my head temporarily so I could think about things that I needed to think about and get done. But I was so caught up with too many emotions that I couldn't think, and crafting helps me to focus. And so it did that job. It did its job. Its job is over. It just didn't need to finish it to get it to do its job. So while that I should have made a better decision on color. But yeah. I've got some beautiful colors that I would actually wear in it too, in the same beautiful soft yarn as well. I could go with like a blue or a pink or a teal or even a green. Like, I've got options. All in the same color, all in the same yarn. So still squishy, still delicious. Yeah, I think you might be right with that one, Russell. Best to pull it, too much sadness. Because every time I look at that particular one as well, I know what it did. Like as in I know what it helped me through. So it's the I'm grateful for what it did, kind of, should I keep it kind of thing, or should I just get rid of it, start another one in a color that I love, where my brain is happier and not needing to work on it so much. So yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. And also it's playing the mental heavy load game, because it's a project that's not finished. So it's playing the whole, oh, you really need to finish this before you start something else kind of game. And I'm like, do I really, really want to do that? I don't know if I really do want to do that. So I think you're all right. I think it needs to be pulled and maybe start it in another, because the pattern is beautiful. The pattern, I love the pattern. I think she's also got she's got other things using the same design. So there's a big head. There's a big scarf. There's a scarf, but the scarf is not free. So yeah, but I think I bought it anyway. I think I was able to, at the time I bought it as a pack or something or other. But I think you can get the headband for free now. So that is cool. It was a color out of my Jethro. Absolutely. It was that beautiful yellow, the edge that I did all the edgings with. So yeah, absolutely. Another color should do the trick. Keeps the memory but weaves in better energy, especially if worn around the head. I agree with you. I think you're right. Absolutely. I think you're right. Holly says, I would frog it. I crocheted a wrap when I was sitting with my brother-in-law when he was dying, and I've never used it. Always reminds me. Yep. Yep. I think you're right. I think you're all right. I think it just needs to be frogged, and it is a beautiful pattern, and it was so fun to do. Um, and now that I remembered to pull out my beautiful row counting tool that Kelly gave me, which is this guy here, which is my little black kitties. I don't know if you can see this little black kitty, but it's a little black kitty. So you just sort of move it along to each row, so you know which row of the repeat you're on. Because I lost track, and it turns out I can read lace, no problems. Not so good at reading cables. So yeah, I think you're all right. You're all right, and I will do that. And I agree with Russell, like wearing something with better energy around my head. Absolutely. Um, Bianca says, I just threw out some books that I bought when my mother was dying because I was never able to read them, and they were a weight of sadness sitting on my shelf. Yeah, sometimes we just need to purge some things out of our lives. And it's not that we want to get rid of memories of these amazing people, but we have proper memories. These are the memories of the sadness of losing these people. We don't need those memories. Or at least I don't need those memories. I want to keep the memories of the happy times and the actual life, and not the memory of me trying to deal with them not being there anymore. So yeah, I think you guys helped make that decision for me. We'll frog that. Where are we? How close to the end are we? I'm like, what time are we at? I'm like, I would like to frog it right now with you guys, so I think I will do that. I'm going to just join this end off. Throw in my little stitch marker. Where is he? Little stitch marker, what did I do with you? Do I have another one somewhere? Look, I don't really even need a stitch marker. I'm just going to pull the strand. Okay. Let's do this. Look, I even printed the pattern out because I was enjoying it. So, alrighty. I've got little happy ginger, like little happy waffles. Bye bye waffles. And row keeper. And cable needle goes in there with the other cable needles. There we go. So many of these needles are out in projects. Actually, some of them are just sitting in the living room. I tested some stuff and didn't put them back. I should leave that out to remind me to do that. Alright, stitch markers off. Little blinglets. Alrighty. I'm going to turn this into a ball. No, they weren't picked because they were a flag. So there was another project I wanted to work on, which was it was just red and white. Sorry, blue and white. And it was just this color work project, and it was knitted, and it was going to be a knitted blanket in this blue and white. And I just wanted to have like a couple of squares that were the red and white, or red and blue. I can't remember which way I was going to go. Just as accent pieces. And then it didn't work. And so I just decided to just use the yarn for something else. So there was no patriotic reason. It's just the colours worked well together for colour work because they contrast really well. So yeah. Front of project marker. I don't know if as many Australians get into the whole patriotic flag thing as some Americans do. I know there absolutely are some. I just don't know if it's as common. But it's still going to be a beautiful blanket, and I'm still going to love it. And it's got some weight to it. Like, it's going to be like a weighted blanket. Oh, Justin asked when I was coming to Queensland, maybe the year after next. Nice. You're going to travel out. You have to let me know when you come. I definitely would love to get some time. I know you're going to be busy and doing stuff, but yeah. Bianca says, yeah, cotton is so heavy. Like, and I like a heavy blanket. So it's nearly like that whole calming weighted blanket thing. I don't know if I really need weighted blankets as such, but I really do enjoy the comfort but also the fact that it can still breathe. Oops, there we go. And it's pulled. Doesn't look great, but it's pulled. I'm going to put that back in the shelf with the others. There we go. Let's take that off the Ravelry queue. Move that to Frogged. Edit. Project. Frogged. Save. That is done. That is moved out of my projects list. Okay, back to this one. Only coming to meet my online friends, including you. The numbers in Queensland continues to grow. Must be the only part of Australia with the good internet. I don't know about that. Melissa says you walk away for 5 minutes and then you frog it. Yep, it's gone. It's done. Decision made. It's that simple. The decision was made. It is frogged. It needed to go. But I will remake it in a different color. Okay, back to what we were doing. So if this one gets finished, then I'm down to 6 projects according to Ravelry. But we do have this one here, which is on Ravelry right now, which is a beautiful cotton. This is that cotton that we got from Bendigo. That's a chainette that they had that test cotton. What's it called? I can't remember. The solstice, and it's just divine. It's just beautiful. But I started it like thinking, oh, I don't know if it'll work out. It's working out. I need to add it to Ravelry. Whoop. Hello, young. Get back away from my wheels. Okay. So that one needs to be added to Ravelry. And then the other thing that needs to be added is that I'm seriously considering, everyone sitting down, you ready for this? Doing one of the next West Knits knit along. I've never done one of his knit alongs and I really like the look of the next one. So I'm contemplating whether I'll do it or not. So I think I would like to. Russell says, I can tell by your glowing face that the frogging, that took some weight off. It did. It took some mental load just straight off, just gone instantly. And I know that's a bizarre thing to think of, just unraveling a project. But that project did have a lot of stuff in it and it's gone now. So that is good. But I'm also exceptionally grateful that I can use Yarncraft for things like that. And I know not everybody has something like that. I was talking with someone about, you know, how they cope with when they've got nothing to do. And I just said, I don't ever have nothing to do. I can't let myself get to that point. I can't let myself get to there is nothing for me to do. It's not a good place in my brain. So I don't let it happen. I've always, like, even if I finished every project, there's still this long list of hundreds of other like craft projects that I want to start. So it's like the second one of these is finished, there's like projects lined up ready to go. And we were talking, because he was like, you know, but like, yeah, what about when you're like watching TV and stuff like that? And I'm like, well, no, the only time I don't craft when I'm watching TV is if I'm sick or if there's something really wrong. And my husband instantly knows. He's just like, are you okay? And I'll be like, why? And he's like, you are not crafting, like, while you're watching telly. And I'm just like, oh, okay, you're right. So yeah, it's just, it's nearly like a coping mechanism that I happen to love doing. So, yeah, it's bizarre. I don't really, I don't know. I don't know the best way to describe it, but I've found that it's helped me through a lot of things. And it also helps me, like, when I have to make big decisions and I need my brain to do its thing, but I need my hands to just be busy. That's when I get those blankets knocked out in like a couple of days, because I just sit and stitch. I don't do anything else. I can't do anything else. My brain starts to kick in and doesn't do what I need it to sort out. So we all have our own brains and how they work best. And I'm sure we've all worked out different ways to get the most out of our own mental brains. But when I'm like dealing with things or reacting to things, sometimes I need to take a step back, and craft is how I do that. Nat says, Russell, so first of all, Russell says that's how the universe works. Yes, it is. It is. Then Nat says Australian representative colours are green and gold, so you see more of that at sporting events than red, white and blue. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't really, does anyone know why that started? I don't understand, like, are we one of the few countries that our, like, sporting colours and stuff are in no way related to our actual flag? Like, that just seems very odd to me. And I don't know when it started. Like, if anyone knows the history, I could probably just Google it, to be honest. But if anyone happens to know the history off the top of their head. Francis says, I really enjoyed the 2 West knit scarves I'm making. Great patterns, well written, and so much tutorial support. Because that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing from friends who, you know, may not necessarily be the most confident knitters, but there's always like great tutorials and stuff like that to help through. So I like that idea. Bianca says it depends on how exciting the show is. I'll sit there while crafting my hand, but not actually doing any because I'm too absorbed in the TV. There are moments where I'll realize that I've been sitting there like this for like 40 minutes. But I don't put it down. I'm still holding it. Holly says I lost my stepmom in August and my crafting really helped me. Yeah, I don't look, for me, and again, all I can say is based off my experience, is for me, it helps my brain to sort of sort out the buckets of my life, to process through different things and just, you know, fix it in a way, or help me make a decision. You know, I'm usually one of these people that I'm like, any decision's better than no decision. Get in, make the decision, done, right? But there are some things that I'm not like that with. There's a few things, and I struggle with those a lot because I usually am just such a like I do normally respond quickly, and when I have to sit down and mull things over and take the time, that can become a little bit consuming. I love watching the Stephen West tutorial videos, even though I'm not knitting the pattern. Okay, see, I haven't even, I've done, he did a was it a Craftsy class where he did like a pile of little tutorials? I thought they were cool. Green and gold are Australia's national sporting colours, chosen to represent the country's national floral emblem, the golden wattle, which is green foliage and yellow blossoms. and near kills half of the population when it blooms, just with hay fever and asthma. Bianca says, I struggle with finding a project to start. It can take me days and days. And that's why I tend to have like a few blankets on the go. So while I'm deciding like especially garments, I really do take a lot longer to decide with garments what I'm going to be doing. So the I do tend to work on like a lot of like these sorts of projects where it's not like gauge and stuff is not important while I decide what I'm going to do with something else, or while the gauge swatches are drying and things like that. And I have to be in the mood to make a gauge swatch, and you know, blah 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 excuses. So yeah. That's probably a good point. You have to think about how Australia started with a bunch of convicts that were rejected by the mother nation. It isn't surprising that we don't feel as patriotic as, and we don't feel as patriotic and meh to the man. Yeah, possibly. That could really be why our nation is quite irreverent compared to other nations. Melissa says, even I can knit Stephen West patterns with his tutorials. Awesome. That's awesome. This Girl says, Bianca, me too. Days of pulling my stash room apart to find inspiration. My daughter has learned to give me a wide berth if I'm between projects. I learned the hard way. If I mention to my husband I don't have a project on the go, he'll make suggestions. And if I say no to them all, he'll be like, see, you don't have no projects. You just have no projects you want to work on. And it might also explain the fondness for language that shocks those in other countries, possibly. Although a lot of the people in our from England and stuff, they've got sailors' mouths as well. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, even Melissa, the prize-winning knitter. Yeah, look, I would consider myself an advanced knitter, but there's still skills I don't have, like when it comes to knitting. Or things that I'm just not confident with. Like, so the two big ones that I don't have a lot of confidence with is cables and Fair Isle. And it just comes down to practice, both of which create quite thick fabric, which I don't really need here. So I just haven't practiced either of them anywhere near enough. And I think if I practiced them more, I would be more confident with them. But I've only made a couple of small cable projects, and I've only done a couple of small Fair Isle projects. What's in the Yetis today? This one has tea. This one has coffee, and this one is full of water. So that is the Yeti haul today. Thanks, Russell. I've got to have the Yetis for all the beveraginos. And what's really funny is, like, I'll finish up a live stream, right? And if I haven't finished all my drinks, I just cart them out to the living room and make my lunch, sit down and just, have my lunch with leftover Yeti juices. And just, drink that tea or drink that coffee or whatever, like 5 hours after I made it. Oh, hydrate. Did the GIF come up for hydrate? I'll have some water, I think. So the current projects left. Oh, the GIF didn't come up. Well, that's a stinker. Why didn't it come up? Let me see. Social stream GIFs. Cancel. I'm going to see if I need a new link for my social stream GIFs. Does someone want to try one of the other GIFs to see if that's working? Because I know that I think coffee wasn't working on the other live stream. Where's the dashboard? It says it's up, but I can't see it. Anyway, I won't play with that today. But yeah, coffee didn't work on Monday, but then hydrate did. There's squirrel. Isn't that weird? Oh, there's hydrate. Hydrate came up for Leanne. Oh, Russell, it's case sensitive. It's so dumb. But yeah, it's case sensitive. You've got to do it all lowercase. Because I typed them in all lowercase, I think. Because I didn't realize it was case sensitive. Split the stitch, split the stitch. Try again without splitting the stitch. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, yeah, you did. I think that could be it. It is case sensitive. Split the stitch. We're getting pretty close to the end. We've only got this much left to go. And then we've done the whole blue down one side. All right, so let me look here. We've got the Coastline Sunburst Hexi Blanket, which we haven't started technically yet. I mean, I've done some test swatches, but that's it. The Moreland Blanket, which is sitting here. It's a project I work on while things are rendering. The Pride Yoke stripy shirt, that's been put aside while my brain wasn't functioning. I didn't want to screw it up and then frog it because I actually really want to wear it. The 4-ply cotton Pride Yoke top. I don't know what I'm going to do with that one yet. I haven't decided if I'm going to frog it out because I've made it in the other yarn that I like better. Yeah, it is. What's happened is usually I can turn on a piece of software and have it stop doing that. But the software wouldn't load today, and I tried reinstalling it like I usually would, and it would not reinstall. So it has been a little bit of a bum. So yeah, it's auto refocusing. It's a bit blurrier than I'd like. And I just didn't get time to work out what the problem was with the software. Why it wasn't being kind or even just opening. And like it opened, like I upgraded the Mac, it's on Tahoe now, but it opened on Tahoe before, but it's not opening on this Mac. So I've just upgraded to the Mac Mini M4. And it hasn't been working on the new Mac Mini. So I don't know what's going on. I have to do some jiggery pokery and work it out. So yes. So because it's on like it's auto mode, I can't control any of the settings, which usually I turn off autofocus. Like I set a focal point and then turn it off. So yeah, it's ticking me off too. Don't worry. Da, da, da. In we go. Let me look. And then there's this one and the fusion quilt, and that's all that's in my Ravelry queue. So currently now there are 6 things in my Ravelry queue. I need to add my pink ranunculus, so that makes 7. And then I also want to add in the West Knits shawl, which will make 8. But then if I get this one finished, it drops back to 7. And then if I get the Municati finished, I think that'll be the next one that I try to give some love to. That'll drop it back to 6. And 6 I can live with. 6 is my happy number of current projects on the go. And then, once I got rid of that fusion quilt and the Municati, when did I cast that on? I'm just checking because it's been a bit. It's been a hot minute. I cast it on a year ago, November 2024, but it's been sitting unworked on for some time now. Because I made the mistake of joining on a pre-used ball of yarn and I wasn't happy with how the stitches were, so I stopped working on it. So now I have to frog that section out and go back to some unused balls of yarn and go from there. I think I actually may have already frogged out the section. I'd have to check where I'm up to with it. And I've still got sleeves to make, which the sleeves will take just as long as the body usually. Russell's got to go. Just finished my studio work from today and now it's off to do the dishes. Well, enjoy that and kick back and put your feet up and have a relax. Yeah, that's the plum one, Leanne. I've got it just here. I can bring it up and you can have a look at it. We can see where I'm up to with it. Let me just join it on. How many squares have we got left to finish? 1, 2, 3.5. Moonicati, where are you? There you are. Boom, 1 Moonicati. So most of the bag is yarn. And this is where we're up to with it. So we're working on the fronts. Oops, what have I done there? Oh, is the yarn tangled around? Hang on. There we go. So I'm working on the fronts and I have frogged it back already. I can see that the bit that I wasn't happy with is not there. So, there we are. There's some of my hair. There's some of Louie's hair. Some of Macy's hair. So yeah. So, oh, hang on. There we go. So it's still got a little ways to go to get that bit back down to there because this bit was finished and I've gotten part the way through this bit and I really just wasn't happy. And so once these bits are done, so it'll just be this stitch all the way down to nearly the bottom and then there's just a bit of a honeycomb, excuse me, a honeycomb stitch at the bottom. So that's done. And then I will need to, there's a little pocket that's got to get done and sleeves. And I think there's a band. I think, I'm not sure. Do I have let me look at the Moonicati pattern. Yes. Then there's a band that gets added on here. Onto the edge. And then that's done. So the sleeves again is just lots of this with the honeycomb edging at the cuffs, which will look lovely. So there's still a lot to go on this one. But yeah, I'm much happier since I frogged the bit that I wasn't happy with. And I pulled the frogged bit out as well so that I don't accidentally use it again. It's in another bag. So that one's still got a fair bit of work left to go on it. I have a bit more tea, I think. Alrighty, turn. I thought I was the only one that doesn't like frogged yarn redone. I have to rewind it into a hank and wash it. Yep, me too. No, definitely don't like. Especially like I think it can depend on what I'm doing with it. If I'm just normal crocheting it and all of it's frogged yarn, I'm okay. Anything else, it needs to be washed and hung and dried and let's go again kind of situation. It just doesn't look right. And it could change. Like it could change how the pattern sits once you wash it as well. You can look at it and go, oh, that bit was, there was too much yarn in there because the frog bits were crinkled up. So they were, they make the stitches too big or whatever. So you have this section of just like a meh, even once you wash and block it. Or at least that's my experience, and it may not be your experience and you might be happy with it. But for me, it's just better to not do it. And I knew it and I still did it. And then I had to undo it. It's like, what are you doing? That's dumb. Don't do that. Okay, then over here. Oh, we're nearly at the end of the fourth last square of the blue. And we'll get there. So I'm looking forward to Caffeinated Crafters tonight because it means I don't have to cook dinner. Ha ha ha. And then we've got members call on Saturday. So if you are a channel member that is coffee level and above, then you are more than welcome to join us on our members call over on Discord. There is instructions on how to connect your YouTube account to your Discord account so that Discord instantly lets you in. There's no dramas, but if you get stuck, please DM me so that we can get you in. And yeah, and just talk craft, talk crap like we do here, but you get to talk and I get to listen. I need a pair of socks straight from the sock blank. The stitches looked really wonky, but I thought blocking the finished socks would fix that. Nope. Yeah, when I was dyeing, I thought, oh, I'm going to try doing some blanks. Blanks will be so fun. And actually, dyeing the blanks is fun. Working off the knitted blanks is not so fun. It really does need like a proper wash and I really think like like someone's going to smack me down for this, but I think you need to weight them to dry it, which is not usually, I don't like that. It's not something I like to do. But even just a little bit of weight just to get the kinks out a little bit, because it really bugs me. It really bugs me. So I'm not usually a weighing the yarn kind of person when I'm dyeing, because it does adjust some stuff. It does take some stretch out, but I can't deal with the stupid kinks. All right, we're into the third last square. So we've got the white, the red, and we're into the top of this white one now. Nearly done for this side, and then I've got to do the blue on the other side. And weave in some ends, but not that many ends. Yeah, so let me know in the chat, like, does anybody else use their craft to help their brains with stuff? Like, you know, whether it's processing things or just keeping it occupied, or like, or is it just me? Well, I know it's not just me. I know there's a couple of you who shared your stories in today's stream as well. I don't get why you would undo a perfectly good sock blank just to re-knit it. Well, I mean, what else are you going to do with a sock blank if you're not going to knit it? Like, are you just going to keep a rectangle? Because it's just, yeah. Because a sock blank is not sock shaped. Sock blanks are rectangles. Sometimes they're even double-stranded rectangles so that you can knit matching socks. Melissa says, I'm totally crafting today to chill out and help my brain calm and help with big decisions today. It is, I find it to be really good for that. I do. I find it to be, for me, it works really well. Because it's like it makes all the, it's like all the surface brain activity goes towards this. And so your body's like, okay, we're crafting today. But then the like subconscious brain can totally focus on the other thing. I don't know if that's scientific or whatever, but it's just how it is. I have one of yours, Chantel, and I treasure it. Sock blank, that is. I've got one of my sock blanks as well that is still in its rectangle, and it was one that I'd made. That was the carpet bag one that I'd made and then sold it, and then it was re-gifted back to me. So, hey Scully Pop, great to see you. Molly says it's definitely used my craft as a sanity checker. Francis says craft really helps my brain relax. Squirrel's brain can't relax. Yeah, it needs something to focus on so that the subconscious brain can just do its thing. So yes, I'm actually finding it like really encouraging that I'm not the only one who used a craft. Oh, Louis back. Who used a craft project to sort of get through a hard time. Scully Pop, right now I am making a blanket. Give me 1 second and I'll pull it out so you can see it a bit better. Just let me get this stitch jointed. There we go. So it is just lots of squares, and the edge stitching is that. So, and then on this side, I've still got to do the blue on this side. We've only got the red on this side. So, it's totally single bed length. Probably not quite, well, actually, if you give it a bit of a stretch, it'll be single bed width as well. But I've made it for the couch. It's for me to sit under on the couch, and it's really heavy because it's cotton. So it is, let me just, how many balls? So it was 4 of the blue, 2 of the white. So each ball is 200 grams. So 4, so that's 800, that's 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, 1,600 grams. So 1.6 kilos of cotton in this blanket. So let me just squidgle it over a little bit so we can see both sides. But it's quite long as well. So I can sit on the couch and have it over my feet out on like a footstool or something and pull it up to my shoulders and still have plenty of room. So yeah, let me just reshuffle everything a little bit. There we go. It is beautiful and soft. It is pure cotton, softly spun, not too hard, and it's lovely. It feels amazing, to be honest. Like blowing my own horn. Oh yeah, my blanket that I'm making, it's amazing. But no, it does. It feels. Oops, what am I doing here? I've janked something up. And so yeah, it does. It feels absolutely divine. It's so soft and it's got some weight to it, so it's so comforting. Because it's cotton, it's so breathable. So even though it's got weight, you're not sort of trapped in a sweaty, gross thing. So it will be lovely. It will be absolutely lovely. And now I'm playing Yarn Chicken because this is all the blue that's left. And it's got to finish this side and do the other side. And based on the calculations I did with the red, I have about 10 grams to spare. So, hello, Squitten. Cotton will clean up well. Oh, yeah, it'll wash beautifully as well. It really will. And Gabby's here too. Hey, Gabby, great to see you jumping in. We've got a members call this weekend, just to remind those of you that are channel members of coffee levels and above. We have members call in the Discord, so all the details are over there. You can check the calendar and it'll give you the start times and what have you there. And then I really am trying to get this, at least this side. Well, I definitely can't get the other side finished, but I'd like to get this side at least done before the end of the stream today. Get in there, little stitch. I have many, many years of practice at this, and many, many hours of practice for this particular blanket. So, yeah. It's just, and it becomes muscle memory. Like, I'm sure there's things that you do that people are like, whoa, you are quick at that. And you don't even, you're like, yeah, okay. But yeah, I love craft. I love crochet. It's my first craft. Um, and so it's sort of the one I go back to when I'm not feeling well. If my brain is not, if my brain's hurting, a crochet machine with a face. Well, because you did, I mean, you probably don't know, or you know, here's an interesting fact that I find interesting that you may not. There actually are no crochet machines. If you ever see crochet in shops, it is someone's made it by hand. It's crochet in fashion. It's all made by hand. Knitting machines exist. Crochet machines do not. So there's machines now that are trying to replicate crochet-ish style or crochet look, but there's actually no machines that can at this stage do crochet. So it's a bit weird. Yeah, that fake crochet using embroidery. Yeah, it looks like crochet, but when you touch it, it's not crochet at all. It's just crochet looking stitches. Look, I reckon crochet will be able to be done by robots eventually. I don't think it's like it can't be done. I think it totally will get done. I just think, you know, that's probably not a priority. uh, what is it like? 22 degrees of freedom in the hand. 22 degrees. I don't understand what that means. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Fauché squitting. Fauché's right. Yeah, sorry, Scully. I'm not quite sure of your reference there. So, oh, we're on to the second last square. Wood, wood. We'll get there. We'll get it done. Go into the little spot. Oh, something to do with how human hands work. Oh, okay. Possibly. But also, a lot of it comes down to, like, with knitting. You can, as all the stitches line up on top of each other or directly underneath each other and things like that, so they're able to work that out. Whereas with crochet, you work into different parts of the stitch for different things, and it's just a bit different. It's just a bit different. I need one more stitch before I join that on, you numpty. Alrighty. And then flip it back. And I think they'd have to work out a way to, like, get them to crochet left and right rather than flipping it. I mean, I know how to crochet left and right handed. So, you know, there's things that I do where I won't flip it and I'll just change hands. Which actually, this probably would have been a good exercise for that because it's only a couple of stitches. And I do the same thing with knitting as well. Oh, you follow a lot of crochet channels. Oh, there you go. There's a lot of us around. And I'm more general yarn crafting because we don't always crochet here. Sometimes we knit, sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes we even spin where we make the yarn. But you haven't done one of those for a while. They take a lot more effort setting up cameras and stuff. Because it's like, am I going to wheel spin or spindle spin? Something I haven't done is any weaving on camera, I don't think. Not any large scale stuff anyway. Like I might have done some little sort of basic weaving. I do know how to make yarn. Yeah, I can spin from raw fleece or from roving, or I can dye the fleece. I can process the fleece directly off a sheep. I can't cut the fleece off a sheep. I don't know how to do that, but I can process the raw fleece, so wash it and clean it and get it ready for spinning, and then spin it and brush it and spin it and do the whole lot. Do the whole kit and caboodle. Oh, really? Wow. Thank you. We're nearly there. Also, I get fast when I'm like, oh, I'm nearly at the end. If I just go a bit faster. It's like when you're doing yarn chicken. Does anyone else speed up? Yeah, there's some videos of spinning. Yeah, and there is some videos of washing some fleece. I'm just trying to think which video that one is. I remember doing it. I had like clear containers so you could see it being washed. I think it was something to do with Tantec. It was a Tantec video. I don't have a video of like from sheep's back to garment or anything like that. But I do have, like, if you go into the videos rather than the live streams, there's a lot less of those. There's some videos in there where I'm spindle spinning. Sometimes I'm spindle spinning wool or cotton. There's definitely one where I was washing fleece. I remember that it was a long time ago though, some years ago. But yeah, that's there as well. Holly says I crochet and knit faster when I'm playing Yarn Chicken because somehow going faster helps. Absolutely. You're like, I'm going to beat it. I'm going to beat it. I'm so going to win. I'm going to win at Yarn Chicken. For those of you who don't know what Yarn Chicken is, where you need to get to the end of a section or row or garment or whatever before the yarn runs out, and you can see that it's running out, and sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. Francis says one of my groups wants us to do a sheep to jumper challenge. Yeah. There's a few of those around. And so what you do is you have someone who shears the sheep, and they drop the fleece down, and then you'll have some ladies who are like instantly start spinning. And then some of the people will, as it's being spun and plied after that, then they start knitting it straight away. So you sort of usually have the first couple of balls are like a ply each of two different spinners, so that two people spinning can turn it into one plied ball of yarn, and whoever's the knitter gets to start the knitting. It's really interesting. There's some YouTube, there's a Netflix series on it. I remember there was a while ago they had like a slow knitting series out of Norway, I think it was, and they did a sheep to sweater thing. Well, technically I'm playing Yarn Chicken. I'm just playing the long Yarn Chicken game because I've got this much cotton left, which looks like a lot, but it's not. Oops, I've got a knot here. And I've got to do the other side. So, but if my maths are correct, which they're not always, but if my maths are correct, I'll have 10 grams spare. Our good friend Game Widows has shared her journey from sheep to garment. It's amazing. Yeah, she does it with spindles quite often. So it's even a bit slower because she's not using a spinning wheel. She's using a hand spinning option. And we are into the last square here. We're halfway into it. We'll get there. We'll make this. We will make it. Yes, we will. Um, you have to be good at math to do this. Look, you can be bad at math and do it. You just might have to do it again. That's generally about where I sit. Oh, look, I've got to redo that because I did not have enough yarn. Or, oh, somehow I need to find someone who's got 10-year-old yarn in the same colorway and same batch lot. Otherwise, it's not going to work. That's the running joke here, is the number of times that's actually happened where I'm like, oh, I'm just going to make this thing and just get started and don't even look at how much would I actually have. Oh, I've got another ball of it somewhere. No, I don't. No, I don't. And nobody else does either because it's from 10 years ago and they used their yarn. And I just collect mine. We're so close to the end. Yes, we are. Oh. Hey, Sandy Dandies Adams, how you doing? Oh, thanks, Scully. I appreciate you saying that. It's a bit different. We like it. Amazing group of phenomenal crafters who hang out and chat each week and listen to me blather on about random stuff. I sometimes wonder why they're here, why you're all here. But I also really appreciate it at the same time. Oh, we're nearly there. I can see the corner. Sometimes yarn needs to mature properly in the stash sometimes. I do have a second channel, Scully Pop, and it is more about live streaming. So technology behind live streaming, the mental game behind live streaming. We talk about all different sorts of stuff. Community building. It's a bit more business focused than craft. But we do sometimes, because this is where I cut my teeth. So sometimes I'll chat about, the community here and how it was built and what we managed to do together as a group. I think you might do. I think you've been over there. Okay, we are joining up to the final corner. Holly says, I like to blather about stuff too. That's why I'm here. I know what you mean, Scully. I follow so many channels, it's not funny. Amanda Varga, I'm here because you're cool. Oh. Thanks, Amanda. I got to scale back. No, I get it. I get it. Sometimes it gets overwhelming. Alrighty, we're on the last corner. We have to do it slightly different just because it's the last one. There's no one to join onto when we turn back. Alright, so join that there. Flip it back around. Finish off the corner with its chains. And boom, we are done. We did it. We did it. I hope I don't regret cutting a nice, decent towel. I learned everything important I know from the Nimmons. The Nimmons are amazing. Nick and Dee Nimmin are phenomenal. There we go. We have the blue edge is done. So now we just need the blue edge on the other side and weave in the ends that are just here. There's 2 rows of ends on this one side. That's all that's left for the ends to weave in as well because I weaved in the rest as I went. That's not an end there, that's the blanket. The rest of the ends got woven in as we went. But I was kind of, I don't know why I started this row without weaving that one in, but I did. So yeah, so I've just got 2 rows of ends to go, and then this extra blue. What do you guys think so far? Let me just fold it in half. So it's gonna have a squizzy look. Actually, what I might do, here we go. I'll stand up with it. I mean, it's very big. All right, so hang on, chair. You just need to move. You're in the way. There we go. So it's that wide. Okay. And just look here. Now it's on the floor. It's just touching the floor. It's so long. It's so long. So that's where we're at with it. Let me just There we go. So that is the side where we've done both edges. And now we've just got the second of the blue. It's got some weight to it. It's I think we worked out about 1.6 kilos once it's all done and dusted. But this edge, I'm really happy with. Like, that's the border. There's no additional border going on. That side is finished. So, and it's just such a simple edge to add on. I was a bit nervous about adding it on. I thought, oh, this is going to be a drama. And it just wasn't at all. No drama detected. So, yeah, it's big. So, it's a chunky boy. You timed out the colors perfectly, you think so? So, yeah, so that's, I love it. I mean, I have folded it really poorly here. Let's not judge my folding, all right? We'll just put that over there. That looks nice. That looks like I've done a great job folding. Actually, that side will look even better. So, yeah. But the folding is very poorly. All right. That's where it's. So I've still got to do the last blue row on that one. Leanne, it's the edge that I'm doing is literally can we zoom in? No, we can't zoom in. We're like just about max zoomed. Hang on. It is just corner to corner. So we just started off like we're starting a new corner. Where's an edge? Give me an edge. There we go. We just started off like we're starting a new corner to corner. So start in the corner, chain 2, go to there, and then turn it and do your 3, and then chain 5, and then do your second row. So it's just 2 rows of corner to corner all the way across. So it's so simple, and it looks so good attached as well. So I'm really happy with it. You know how we were saying earlier about sometimes the finish is what just makes it, and I think the finish on this is what's making it. I think it's this edging is what's just pulling it all together as well. And also it'll hold these corner to corners in a bit better because it's quite heavy. It'll be stretched out a little bit. So yeah, I'm very happy with it. So on that note, tonight, those of you that come to IKEA at Loganholme from 6 p.m, we'll be there crafting. I won't have the blanket. It's very heavy. I'll have something else with me, but hopefully this will get finished in the next day or so because it's so close to being done. And this is a huge project that can just depart the crafting area and get washed and go into the linen cupboard and get used on couches and on beds and stuff. So that's the plan. So I will catch you all back here next week. Those of you that are channel members, I'll see you in the Discord on Saturday. My Saturday, if you're in the US, it's Friday evening for you. And I'll see you all later. Be good now. Bye.